Hello once again to another episode of the Ultimate Contest series in Pirate Galaxy. It's been a while since the last match. We have for you today once again a post commentary like a few have been before. I wasn't able to cover this match live because there were some clan responsibilities to be taken care of. But we have rank 4 Skylork challenging rank 2 Mr. Wick, also known as Get a Grip X. And we're starting off in Sirius with Mr. Wick selecting a Punari for his first choice. Punari, a very solid choice. We see it quite frequently. I feel like not as much as it deserves to be picked, because there's really not that much that counters a Punari. It's the Emperor. That's about it. It has decent chances against everything else. But yeah, if the opponent picks an Emperor, then you are in a bad spot. And Skylork actually picking the Chrome. Normally prefers to go with the Hunter, but probably predicting a Punari, possibly. So throws out a Chrome, and Punari versus Chrome, as I said, it's an interesting match. It's quite close. I feel the Punari struggles to kill the Chrome, is my main description of it. It just lacks the damage output. Punari will usually kill people with stunning them until they don't have a defensive setup anymore, but against a ship that has both Protector and an Actuator, that's a tough feat to do. The Chrome also struggles to kill the Punari though, having very limited damage output, and you're kind of relying on your OS crit, but Punari's armor is very solid. It's among the higher armored ships. It's not a ludicrously armored ship by any means, but the armor is solid. It can take a beating, generally, the Punari. So we're gonna take a look. These are two of among the best players in the game, obviously very high ranked at the moment. And it looks like we're already off. So obviously no point range exploiting here, we're going straight in. No, we're not. I am a bad commentator. There we go. Starting off with the Protector is Mr. Wick. Interesting choice. Skylork, early OS, going for just a raw DPS strategy and gets a very good hit, takes out basically the entire Protector. Now Mr. Wick throws out a stun. Skylork with a reasonably early RD, he doesn't want to double defend this, so he's gonna have to sit in the stun now. He's gonna AB out his Skylork, Mr. Wick chasing. Needs to put his own RD, Skylork puts his Protector up now. And yeah, Mr. Wick. It's gonna be interesting actually, because his Scrambler now needs to carry him until the Protector is up. And Scrambler doesn't dodge OS. So yeah, he was running away in a straight line trying to get the distance. Skylork also not that high on defense. He might have been able to push that a bit, but you're hoping for an OS hit. I think Mr. Wick managed to get out of range though. Out of the OS range, because he does have the faster ship. Going for a quick dome. OS. It's a good hit. It's not quite good enough. Mr. Wick survives with 16%. Skylork blunders the trap there. That's unfortunate. He wanted to trap Wick when he was... like Wick did the style points play of going in for an extra blaster during the RD. And Sky tried to trap him while he was in that sequence, because he would have probably killed him there. But yeah, sadly not quite getting the timing on that, which means it ends up placing on himself. And he's now without a trap, and that's a big deal. That's his reset button. The Punari is the faster ship. Wick now, on paper, is in full control of the match. Still has his Protector. Yeah, there it is. Doesn't want to risk it against an OS, obviously, so just using the defense where it is. He does get to range, the Skylork, and the speed difference is quite minimal between these two. You can see if you look on the minimap that Mr. Wick is catching up, but yeah, with the trap there. Ooh, cute play there, going for the moving in right as Skylork knows that Mr. Wick is gonna hit the turret. So pretty well done. Protector now runs out. With the OS that doesn't take that long, but RD is already back up and available for Mr. Wick, and we're gonna be here for a while. Those of you that didn't expect this match to take a while, I'm not sure what you're doing. No, maybe you're new to PvP, but these are two fairly defensive ships, defense-oriented ships. Mr. Wick once again throws out a stun. This one shouldn't be able to get prodded off, which it's actually a very value stun, because he's in. That stun goes on all of the defensive cooldowns. The trap gets increased. I think the OS gets increased. It's about to be back up, but yeah, now the protector comes up with right after the stun, so not really nullifying any part of that stun. And that bit of cooldown increase counts for a lot. Ooh, that's unfortunate. Skylork lands his OS, but there are 3 other Mantis, maybe even 4. So only 20% damage on Wick there. It's really not what you're hoping for. That OS is everything on the Chromium. That's your only chance of killing this Bunari ever. Bunari is too defensive for you to take it down with just your blaster actuator combo. Dancing around the trap a bit to get his cooldowns back. Kind of a partial soft reset. Skylork still doesn't have that much to fear. He'll have his defenses back up at this point, and the Bunari just lacks damage output, fundamentally lacks damage output. It's the biggest drawback of that ship, is that it's the lowest damage output in the game. There is no other ship with lower damage output except for a base engineer. That's it. Well, and the tutorial ships, obviously the raider class ships. But yeah, everything else has more DPS than the Bunari. Bunari really needs to bank on those stuns to whittle down the enemy, but stuns can only go so far, and if you just get trapped, Skylork can reset the fight essentially whenever it wants. This is what I mean with the Bunari having good armor though. That OS barely did 30%, it did 31 or 32%, which is an abysmal hit. It didn't crit either, but that's just good armor, I think. And yeah, we are starting to approach the timer here, slowly but surely. I think we have about 4 minutes left before the time hits. I'll verify that once it gets closer. Obviously, because I'm in a post commentary, it's a little bit more difficult to check that. I need to scroll back in the video to find the moment where the actual fighting starts, and you know, then figure out the difference in time. But we're not there yet. The overall recording is less than 10 minutes so far. So, ooh, that's a mistake by Skylork. He prods on the dome. That's not what you want to do, because now Mr. Wick can just shoot out the protector and then land a stun that's guaranteed to improve or increase the cooldown offset protector. So that's not really what you want. Yeah, instantly stuns him, exactly as I said. So Mr. Wick really needs to just get working on these cooldowns. Sky still has the RD up, he's not gonna die here. So no worries about that. And Mr. Wick just not even shooting Skylork, he's just shooting the trap to get rid of Sky's ability to reset for the time being. But that trap, because it's a rapid, it really doesn't have much of a cooldown. The trap cooldown, I believe, is, or the effective cooldown when you also have an actuator in the mix, is, I believe, about 2 minutes, possibly even less. Mr. Wick actually on the run here. Not entirely sure about that one, because his protector is coming up. If it was a really high OS hit, then he might have been in trouble there. Prod scram at the same time. His scrambler now needs to carry him to the next RD. He's probably gonna try to stun. Not sure if the protector's gonna be up. Skylork did have an actuator running. If both have an actuator running, then you throw out the stun and it works. I think he's gonna have to throw it out. He needs to do something. He's gonna die here. Oh, double stun! And no RD on Skylork. Yeah, he can't RD in time now. Wow! That's a nice little play. Skylork a little bit too greedy there. I'm actually gonna rewind that for you guys, because the magic of post-commentary. So here's what exactly happened. So Mr. Wick here, low on defense. Skylork still has his RD, I'm fairly sure. But Skylork ABs right at the moment where Wick puts his dome. Starting with the dome is risky, by the way. Normally if you go for a double stun, you'd stun first, because it's the stronger one. But yeah, like, unfortunate timing there. Skylork, with the increased HP that he had, I think was trying to just leverage. He may not have had RD, but I feel like he did, otherwise he wouldn't be running in like that. He just thought that with the increased HP he would kill the Punari. And like, he can just RD at 10% if he needs to. But yeah, a bit of a miscalculation, and double stun is still risky if it hits at a bad time, so a little bit too greedy, or miscalculating his cycles slightly, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe Skylork also just had enough of it. Yeah, Skylork also saying he had the RD up. And then, yeah, the AB. AB is the wrong thing to use there, definitely, but wanted to stay on top. And well played by Mr. Wick, and that gives him a quick 1-0 lead. We're now going to go take a quick energy break for Skylork, and once he is back, I will start up the second part of the recording, so there's gonna be a dramatic cut here in the video, for which I do apologize. I'll see you once Skylork has refilled his battery. So we're back once again. Skylork has just lost the first round. We took a quick intermission for some energy, and we are now ready to start with the second round of this match. Not entirely sure which system has been selected. The chat doesn't go back that far, but it looks like it is going to be Mizar. Strong suspicion that it's going to be Mizar. And Mr. Wick selecting a Hunter, sticking to the basics here. Hunter obviously the choice that we expect. And let's see what Skylork is going to decide on. Skylork has quite a few ships in Mizar, more than he has in other systems, so a bit more flexibility to choose from. And it's always interesting what people decide on. Hunter obviously still the meta, even in Mizar. Hunter and especially the Emperor really strong in Mizar, because the Emperor doesn't suffer as much as the Hunter by the nerf to Mizar Veritech. But Skylork chooses to play out the Corundum. I think that's interesting. In higher systems, I generally consider the Corundum to be at least one of the stronger ships against Hunter. But in Mizar I'm not really sure, because the Hunter is weaker, you only have the rare Sniper Blaster and only the rare attack charge, which is a pretty big deal, because on Hunter that attack charge is a multiplicative buff to the speed actuator, so the difference in power is multiplied by whatever speed actuator you have. Meanwhile, the Corundum, way less one-shotting potential because you don't have a strong strong OS. So we're gonna see how this turns out. Quick SB, Skylork as usual. After burns in, Wick with a quick stun on the AB though. Sky is gonna prod that off, but okay, he does get into blaster range. I don't think he's in OS range. Ooh, Wick throws an AB out just to chase him. Does kill the protector. And manages to be at SB range at the end of it, so very well played there. Now walks into blaster range. He knows that Skylork is almost out of defense. Once that RD runs out, Sky's only real chance is to trap and reset. Yeah, there it is. Gonna take a lot of damage on the way out. Wick's just gonna kill this trap and then probably try to AB after Sky. Sky will get his protector back in a second. So yeah, there's the prod. And now it comes down to blasters. Pretty much. But yeah, Wick is gonna shoot out the prod here. And then Sky is stunned. And I feel like Wick could have just walked in here and killed him, but he's gonna play it careful, do it from his B range, and yeah, there it is. Fairly clean victory. I feel like, yeah, the The item order maybe not ideal by Sky. He almost had the RD there, but needed to play a little bit more cautious, I think. Possibly underestimating the DPS that Hunter has, even in Mizar, still very impressive damage. So that puts Mr. Wick on a quick 2-0. And Skylork gonna select Soul to attempt to start up his comeback. And yeah, I'm quite curious once again what picks we're gonna have. Skylork has a Chrome and a Hunter, and Mr. Wick has every ship in existence. So I'm hoping we get to see some flex pick by Mr. Wick, and not just the standard meta stuff that is expected. Just select the Hunter Soul config. Excuse me. He's just putting all of his ships on level 60 so Sky can see what he has, and looks like he's gonna play a sniper. Interesting. So the rare sniper, obviously the rare sniper is a bit stronger than the disruptor, 5%. Less than 5%, it's 4% stronger than the disruptor. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm not sure what ship he's really hoping for for Sky to pick. He might be trying to play into a Hunter, because Sniper, strong buff, strong OS, you have a good chance at one-shotting a Hunter. It's far from guaranteed, it's probably less than 50% chance still, but your odds aren't bad. So that might be the plan there. Oh, it's me. Cameo appearance. Yeah. There was a little bit of miscommunication where I got called over to commentate live, and I said like, I'll be there in a little while, I need to finish up what I'm doing, and then they just started without me. That's why we're post-commentating this. So, yeah. that dilemma is now being explained. And we have a Sniper versus Hunter here, so I'm not entirely sure what Wick was hoping for. I'm not sure if he does better against the Chrome. I feel like probably the Hunter is the better thing to play against, weird as that seems. Because it's harder to one-shot a Chrome than to one-shot a Hunter. But let's take a look. And Sky saying he knew it and was tempted to bring one himself, but... well, let's take a look. This is far from... I mean, obviously the Hunter is favored, quite heavily favored. If he just plays aggressive, throws out the stun to prevent like follow-up, keeps his HP at 100%, he should be victorious here. But 1 OS is all it takes, that's all I'm gonna say about that one. Like, 1 OS is all you need. 66, OS, just drop the OS, and Sky dodges it. Yeah, GG. He's not even gonna need stuff. Yeah, okay, it's 26% on SB. Yeah, Mr. Wick needed to make very sure that the OS would actually hit, but it's difficult to do. If your opponent has an actuator and you do not, it's very difficult to do. But yeah, well played by Skylork. He did need to dodge that OS. If he didn't dodge the OS there, he would have died, I'm fairly sure. So, well played, gets a point on the board at least, 2-1. And now the pick goes to Mr. Wick, who picks Draconis. So, the Draconis meta, I don't know, it's the same as the Sirius or the Soul meta realistically, there's no discernible difference. So let's see what decision we get by Mr. Wick. VQ? No, I don't believe you. No, I don't believe you. I don't think I've ever seen Mr. Wick play a VQ. I'm trying to think of a time where he did it. He might have done it on CQs, but it's usually Modu, not Mr. Wick, who flies the VQ. Ah, he brings it out now. Okay, I don't think I've seen him do it in 1v1s before, but could be wrong on that. I have seen a lot of matches by now, and it's hard to keep track of which player played which ship. I haven't, at least I can say I haven't seen him do it often. I wouldn't consider this his standard ship, one of his standard ships for Mr. Wick. But we'll see how well it works out. Obviously, Skylork's pick is set in stone. He only has one Draconis ship, which is the CC. So VQ versus CC. On paper, it should be an infinite match or Chrome favored, just on the basis that the VQ has major difficulty with actually... Wait. He bought... Huh? He bought a hunter. That's fancy. Very fancy. He only had Chrome before, but now he also has a hunter for Draconis. Okay, so he bought a ship specifically to play this match, it seems. It's also a serious hunter. So that's not entirely fair. Skylork obviously cheating and trying to get an easy win. Unacceptable. Skylork should go get banned. Permanently banned from the contest. It's not the behavior you want to see. No, just a simple mistake here, but I'm quite curious now because Skylork for the longest time has only had a Chromium for Draconis, so it's quite possible that he bought a Hunter configuration and he just messed it up. Because he, with the income from OTB, he could definitely afford it, and I think he's gonna... I think that is the case, otherwise he wouldn't be in a Hunter, he would see that he messed it up, but that's weird, because you'd think if you're buying a ship just to play a match, well, it's not just to play this match, it's also for future matches and stuff like that, but if you're buying a ship, generally you're gonna be in that ship, you don't mess it up, because you just bought it. But... and there it is! So Skylork actually confirms what I've been saying, and I've been hyping up his Hunter purchase, and he just managed to somehow bring out a Hunter, not realizing that it was in the wrong system, and not realizing that he doesn't even have it in the system he's chosen. Okay, so he's gonna be a Chrome. And Mr. Wick agrees to it, so no issue with the rules here. That's But let's get back on topic. As I was saying, Chrome v Hunter. Chrome v versus VQ. The VQ wins the fight. Let's make that very clear. The VQ is going to win every fight. It's just that the VQ has a very fundamental control issue. And it doesn't win the fight that convincingly like an Emperor would, where you're just overwhelming the opponent, I think. Because your Scrambler doesn't counter the OS. So you don't have reliable OS defense. If you get a bad Scrambler round, then you're in big trouble. Definitely we're gonna see a lot of range exploiting from Mr. Wick this round, but I'm very curious to see how he's going to get around Skylork just resetting with traps until he gets a good OS hit. That's what Skylork normally does in these matches. I've played this match with him a couple of times during one of our training sessions. And he just kinda resets in the VQ, like, you don't have an actuator, so you have less afterburners per whatever time unit you decide to choose per minute than the Chrome does. Your ship is slightly faster, but because you have less ABs over a long distance, eventually the Chrome is going to be faster. Those extra ABs count more than your innate speed does, and the Chrome has a trap. So it's just really difficult to stay on top of the Chrome enough without being vulnerable to an OS yourself. You can't afford to permanently stay in range. And because the Chrome has an actuator, every other protector doesn't have a perforator. Like, your perforator cooldown is longer than the cooldown of a protector if it's been actuated. So, I'm quite curious. I would favor Sky, but say that it's a good chance for a draw. But obviously the VQ has good potential. If Sky makes one mistake, then the VQ's just DPS is just gonna overwhelm him. If he gets range exploited too much, then that's gonna be game as well. It's a tricky matchup for both players, I think. But let's get into it. We've been waiting long enough by now, I think. Mr. Wick saying he is ready. Checking the tech real quick. Didn't see anything out of the ordinary. He scrolled over it quite quickly, but looks like a pretty standard Chrome. I believe we have a pretty standard VQ as well. There's not that much variation in the VQ you can do. And yeah, Skylork still has energy issues apparently, which just a bit unfortunate. You hate to see it, and it's a bit annoying to. 14k. You're not starving for energy if you have 14k. Get out, Skylork. No. That's just deceitful. Unacceptable. Mr. Wick saying he hopes it's enough. Yeah, it's probably gonna be a long fight. So these concerns may be very warranted. And Skylork now also saying he's ready, so we are going to be off. And yeah, I'm expecting Mr. Wick to just range exploit, but he probably doesn't want to give up the... Huh? Ooh, that's... Whoa. Whoa, that's... No, that's really bad by Sky. I don't... What is he doing? He AB's in. Wick tries to AB out, so Sky would still be at a range exploit. But Sky just burns the trap. Like, that trap's doing nothing now. All the trap is doing is breaking the range exploit. Now Sky sees, I can't win this fight. So now he has to run away, give a range exploit anyway. And now he's gonna have to try to run away, but your actuator isn't that powerful. Wick can't AB into this. The OS will kill him before his RD comes up, unless if it gets a really low hit. So Wick needs to wait slightly, but he's gonna cut off the corner here. Skylork also kinda ran into a bad way. So Mr. Wick will catch him, probably not before Sky gets some items back, so yeah, Sky already has his RD. And yeah, Mr. Wick saying the same as me there, like, it depends on the OS hit, whether or not that works. And Mr. Wick just, yeah, consistently range exploiting. Sky turns to range. And goes for a full reset. So, can Mr. Wick break this? Eventually, he will catch up to Sky. Sky's actually gonna try an OS turn. He really likes doing this trick of OSing Mantis and like the opponent walking into the AoE. But yeah, Mr. Wick also saying he knew it. Because you can see the like ship turn around. This is a bit of a... There are more clever ways of doing this, of achieving this, where your ship doesn't turn around. In this case, Skylork actually turned his ship to fly towards the Mantis, and that makes it quite obvious what's gonna happen. But like, he should be putting his prot here, yeah. There it is, he agrees. Mr. Wick putting his Scrambler. Not getting the best RNG there. Skylork by now should also have... Yeah, he has the OS. Ooh, good hit, 14%. Not quite good enough though. I feel like 75% a little bit early of Sky to drop the OS, and yeah, AB, Wick gonna chase this with AB, and Sky needs to drop a trap if he has it. He might not. Yeah, okay, there it is. So gonna reset out with the trap. And this is what I said, like, the VQ has won every engagement so far, but it doesn't win it hard enough to stay on top of the Chrome. So we'll see, we're still on the time limit. and because I can see the duration of the recording, I know that this match isn't going to take an eternity, but quite interesting. And Sky once again just pops the RD, full reset, Wick AB's in, Sky should be ABing out here, probably gonna drop an OS and then AB out. Okay. I think that's what he tried to do, but he turns it in. Needs to make sure he stays out of SB range though. Might have messed up slightly, I feel like. Nah, he's just gonna AB out to be super safe. Gonna wait, probably gonna wait all the way for his trap to come back again. Because that's the safe way to do it. Mr. Wick will catch him on the next AB he has. But Skylork has all of his defense, he's gonna pop an actuator, and by the end of that actuator he'll have the trap back again as well. Yeah, okay, he just puts the actuator outright just to get the trap back more quickly, get the the AB back more quickly so we can keep ensuring that reset. Once again, good OS hit. This is the issue on VQ, you're not that good against OS. So Scrambler plus RD. Sky also has to put the RD. And Sky gonna AB out. So Skylork, I feel like he should be reasonably close to the trap. It is only a rare trap though. It might not have it actually. He could be in a bad position. He has no defense here. Wick is gonna get into bomb range as well. Not sure if the OS gets back quickly enough. 45%. Ooh, Sky briefly turns out of range. 18. No, Mr. Wick is gonna take it there. Ah, not quite careful enough by Sky. Needed to. Feel like he needed to hold his OS a little bit more to like the threat of it. Use the threat of it to force Wick away, and then when Wick actually overextends into it, you have an OS to punish it. But yeah, a little bit difficult. Pretty close. Sky did get good OS hits. As he said, like, he didn't predict to get OS hits that good, and I apologize, I need to put my Discord on silent. There we go. Apologies. So that puts Wick at a 3-1 lead, only one more match to claim the series. So let's see what Skylork decides to pick for this next one, to his last ditch effort to get a comeback going. Mizar once again. Okay, so let's see what sort of decisions we get here. The Mizar meta, probably the most open meta of any system. But it still tends to come down. Nowadays it tends to come down to Hunter and Emperor, like the same meta that you see in other systems. Mr. Wick brings out one of his more infamous ships, the Punari. Mr. Wick, back in the olden days, used to play a lot more Marlstone. These days I mostly see him using the Punari, and the win rate agrees with him. The win rate of Punari is among the highest of all ships. Of the ships that have like a significant number of matches, Punari is by far the highest win rate, in fact. And the Milstone's win rate is fairly abysmal. It's less than 50%, which is not good, to say the least. But Skylork brings out a Locust, and Punari versus Locust is pretty interesting, I think. Skylork plugging my video of my own fight against Skylork, which was definitely something. It was something that exists. If you haven't seen it, then I don't even want to say that I recommend it, because it was It was strange. Let's keep it at that. If you want to see a strange PvP, then go go look at that one. Yeah, that's about all I'm gonna say about that. If you want to see quality PvP, that's not the match to look at. But okay, that's enough plugging my own video. Skylork made me do it. Okay, I'm just reading the in-game chat. Don't bully me. Yeah, 10k should be enough. It definitely is. But Locust versus Punari, like both of these ships, kind of struggle to kill the opponent. I feel. On paper, the Locust should be favored for just fighting purposes, but the Punari is kinda too tanky for the Locust to kill. And yeah, that's where we get into difficult situations. Ooh, that's a really early... Whoa! So Sky not only puts an early RD, but also prods on the RD, so once this prod gets shot down, he has no defense at all. Mr. Wick needs to put the RD up. Yeah, there it is. I feel like... Doesn't Mr. Wick just win? I'm a bit confused. Like, don't you just dome and win? Yeah, AB chess. Sky is dead, right? Like, he's mega dead. Tries to throw out a bomb, doesn't hit it. Even if he would have hit it, it's not gonna be enough. Throws out the XD. Dead. You have to kill me, says Sky, and no hesitation, by the way. Yeah, I'm not sure what the plan was there. Like, you don't need to early RD that heavily. I mean, he got double stunned to death in an earlier match. Might be a bit of lingering trauma from that. So he just RDs at 50% against a ship that only has blaster for DPS. That's too early. And then also prodding on top of that. You're just like textbook over defending, I guess. But yeah, that puts Wick at a 4-1, and that's enough to win the series. So, well played by both. A little bit more by Mr. Wick, obviously, because he is the winner. He will defend his second place in the ranking. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you